Hello, everybody. Hello, look at all those beautiful faces out there on a Thursday evening. What a better place to be than joining me and CJ tonight on a Thursday evening in the Easter holidays, chatting about this incredible business. So, huge welcome for you all for figuring out Zoom and joining us tonight. We are really, really looking forward to presenting this with you all. So, take a deep breath. My name is Danni Wells, and I am an independent consultant with Arbonne International and a regional vice president, which probably means absolutely zilch to you all, unless you're in the business. But basically, there are 4 levels within Arbonne that we can build our business to, and I'm at level 3. I have to think about that then. And CJ's almost at level 2. So we're going to go through a bit about why we started our business with Arbonne and a bit about the company. So CJ, did you want to go first about a bit about why you started your business? Might need to unmute. Unmute. There we go. That's a good start.
There we go. Yeah, so it's okay. Great. Okay, so yeah, so why I started my Arbonne business. So as a kind of day job, I'm a children's activities manager, and I had been doing my job for just over 2 years full time, and I really, really did love my job. I really enjoyed it, and I ploughed all of my time and my energy and my hours into doing this job. And because I didn't have any dependents, my husband worked at the same place. We had relocated to where I work. So to be honest, that's where I'd started to build like a family of friends. So working was fun. It really was. And I really enjoyed my job as well. I was progressing. I got to do loads of courses. I became a coach to do loads of different things. And it was great. Up until the point where my husband and I had our first son. And I went on maternity leave. And now for those that have gone on to maternity leave, will know that if you've just got basic maternity leave, like package, your income, regardless to what it was before, goes down to a set price. And suddenly, after 6 months of having been on maternity leave, our pay just halved. My salary just halved, even more than halved. And we were living on very little. And at that time, I wish I knew about Arbonne, because I would have definitely have jumped on. But we survived. And then I went back to work. But I didn't want then to dedicate all of my time to my job. I wanted to still do my job and still enjoy my job. But I wanted to be at home with my son, Harry, as well. So I went back part-time hours. And I went back 27 hours a week. However, I went back 27 hours a week to do exactly the same job with exactly the same responsibilities, but now I was getting a third or 2/3 of what my salary was. So I was getting paid less to do the job that I had dedicated so much time to do. I was still achieving my targets. I was still doing everything I was doing before, but because I was able to time manage my time and do it in less amount of hours so that I could be at home with my son, I was getting paid less to do it. And that's when I started to fall out of love with working for a corporate company, because I realized that my time was literally a tick in a box, and it didn't matter what I did or how much I did of it. I was capped at what I could earn because of the hours that I could dedicate to that business, and it had nothing to do with the workload that I did. So when I then went on maternity leave with my second son, I had heard about Arbonne, and I had started an Arbonne business, because Arbonne to me meant that I could start to supplement that part of my income. So when I went on mat leave this time, it's been great, because I've built a business up, and now I've gone back to work, but I've only gone back 2 days a week, and it doesn't matter. So now I've gone back because I enjoy the place I work, but the work itself doesn't matter. So for me, that's what was really special about Arbonne, and the fact that it was a willable business as well. So after having lost a family member a couple of years ago, it was really important for me to find something that I could create and build from home. So basically, that's why I started Arbonne. I was a pure business-minded person when it came to Arbonne. The products came second for me. However, now I've completely fallen in love with the products. So I'll hand over to you, Danni.
Well, okay. Okay, so for me, when I was younger, I don't know about everybody else, but I didn't grow up thinking when I'm older I'm going to be an Arbonne consultant. That definitely wasn't on the agenda. I actually grew up and dedicated a lot of my time to training to work in ophthalmology. So I worked for Specsavers Opticians for 7 years. I had a really good job. I had a really great pay, and I definitely enjoyed my job. The only problem was, when our second daughter was born, so we've got 2 children. When my second daughter was born, we had a very normal pregnancy, a very normal birth. But quite quickly after she was born, it was discovered that she was actually suffering from an enormous brain hemorrhage and a severe stroke. So from being born, she was whisked off straight away to life support and put onto intensive care and then a high dependency ward. When this was all happening, we obviously, me and my husband, needed to be with our little daughter, but we also had a second child as well, a toddler. So our toddler then had to go and move in with grandma and granddad so that me and my husband could be with our youngest daughter on intensive care, on life support, and be where we needed to be. And like CJ, I was in receipt of maternity allowance, which I think is probably about £300 a month or something like that, which I'm grateful for. But my husband had the type of job, he's a tiler, so he sticks tiles to a floor and a wall in kitchens and bathrooms, and he has the type of job that most people have, so like 90% of the population have, which is if he doesn't show up for his job, he doesn't get paid. So if tiles aren't stuck on a wall or a floor, he does not get paid. So when he was in hospital with me and our youngest daughter, not knowing if she was going to make it through each day, he was forced to go to work and tile, because if he didn't, our bills wouldn't get paid. So we obviously still had all of the household bills going out, our rent, our electric, our council tax, all those outgoings. And if he had stayed in hospital, like me, I was allowed to stay in hospital. If he had stayed in hospital with his daughter, like I was, that would have been amazing. But financially, we couldn't afford for him to do that because we would have lost our house. So every day we would wake up in hospital, because we were allowed to stay in the hospital. We'd wake up and he would give his little girl a kiss on the forehead with tears in his eyes and basically say, "I'm really sorry, princess. Daddy's got to go to work. Stay strong, and I'll be back as soon as I can." And I'd have to watch him leave the intensive care ward, knowing that he wanted to stay. He wanted to be by his little girl's side, because he'd go to work and do his tiling, but not know if he was going to come back and she would actually be alive or not. And this went on for weeks and weeks. And at the time, I wish I'd had a plan B income, because if I'd had a plan B income, he could have stayed in hospital with us. And I think that's why I'm so passionate about this business, because I found this business after that. But I massively promote to people that they need to have a plan B income. Whether that's Arbonne or not is obviously a personal choice. Me and CJ are going to go through all of the things about Arbonne, so you can have a look if it is going to be a fit for you, or somebody that you may know. But you need to have a plan B income, because I want you to think about this while me and CJ are going through this presentation. If you were to fall down the stairs and break your back and be out of work for 6 months, how long could you survive on your savings? So for me, we didn't have any savings. If your husband or your wife was to lose their job through illness or something, how long could you survive on your savings then? Do you have a plan B income? Do you have lots of rental properties out that are bringing in a second source of income? And if you don't, you need to really seriously have a think about what you're going to do in terms of a plan B income. Because this is why I promote Arbonne so heavily to people like CJ. I joined for the business. The products are incredible, and we're going to talk about that. But this is a plan B income, so that if your parents fall ill and they, cancer's a big thing these days. If they fall ill and they need to have cancer, chemotherapy and radiation therapy for the next 6 months, can you afford to be off work and be with them at every single appointment? If your child falls ill, can you afford to be off work and be with your child for the next 6 months, 12 months? So this is a plan B income. So that's what me and my CJ are going to talk you through tonight. So CJ, it's fine. No one's frozen. Can you still hear CJ?
Just that everyone can you hear me?
Yeah, fine. Yeah.
Okay, because my screen's frozen, so I can't see anything.
Can you not see anything now?
There we go. Yeah, I can see your screen sharing. I just can't see some things.
Can you see that, CJ?
Yeah, yeah.
Are you doing that?
What, this one?
Yeah, I thought you were doing
Yeah,
that
this one. Okay. It's all right. There's just a bit of a delay, that's all. I'm on the right screen now.
Okay.
I love technology. Okay, so the Arbonne story. So what is Arbonne? Like, what is it all about? So the Arbonne story is that Arbonne is a botanically based beauty and health and wellness company that's now 36 years old. And you might be thinking, like, 36 years old, like, I totally haven't heard of this before. And that's because it's an online business, and it's done through network marketing. So it's the brand and the word of and the products are all spread by word of mouth through independent consultants like myself and Danni. The Arbonne uses like the cutting edge research and development to create the most amazing products that we use. It's unbelievably passionate about the independent consultants, and the culture within Arbonne is something I have never seen before. I've never worked in an environment or been in an environment, including like school and college and uni, where everybody is so cared for, and not just by the people that are on your right and on your left, but by everybody. And that goes right up to our customer service team, who are unbelievably amazing. They care about looking after us, because by looking after us, we're looking after the brand and the company and what Arbonne stands for. Arbonne is also a global opportunity, and it was started and created by the amazing Petter Mork, whose philosophy really was just to help everybody and to create something that could help families have more, and not just more money, but more time, more freedom and more say, like to give back families and individuals the ability to have a say over what they wanted to do and how they wanted to dedicate their time in their life. So we've obviously got a generous compensation plan, which we're going to go over a little bit later on. The company, when you get to area manager and above, is willable. So in my introduction earlier, I said about that I had a relative that died a couple of years ago, and when she died, she was my stepmom. So when she died, my two sisters were at the time, they were only 13 and 6, and basically she had nothing left for them. She was only young herself. She was still creating and still building her legacy, and it would have taken her time to build up a pension or build up life insurance and things like that. So her plan B hadn't really kicked in yet. So the beauty of this business is it doesn't matter how old you are, you can literally start building your plan B straight away. And once you get to area, you have that security that should something happen to you, that your business is willable, and I believe it's willable for like 7 generations. Like I said earlier, we've got an amazing head office team, and we use the state-of-the-art distribution and support centres. So it really is incredible. So in a nutshell, that is kind of Arbonne's story. Danni.
Fabulous. Okay, so we're going to talk to you a little bit about these products in a moment. But before I do, you're probably thinking the same as what I thought when I first looked at this business. If the products are so fantastic, why are they not sold in shops? So there are 3 main reasons why these products are not sold in a shop, nor have they ever been for the last 37 years, nor will they ever be. Never, ever, ever will they ever be sold in shops. And these are the 3 reasons why. So number 1, when products are sold in a shop, they have to go through a massive middle process from where the product first started to the end consumer. So if you think about when you go to the supermarket to buy your shampoo and you pick it off the shelf, put it in your basket and go to the till and pay for that product, you are the end consumer. You're the person buying it and using it at the end. And you might pay a couple of pounds for your shampoo. But I want you to have a think about the process, because before you pick that product up from the shelf, it's spent a long time that going through this lengthy process. And this lengthy process that I'm going to just touch on in a second can take up to 7 years. So when you pick your product up off the shelf and you find a little bit of dust on the top and you just sort of like blow that dust away, that's because this process can take up to 7 years. And it's actually a legal requirement that shop bought products have a 7-year shelf life, which is in itself quite disturbing, because if you went to the supermarket and picked up an apple and the apple looked nice and juicy, but it had a 7-year shelf life on it, it'd been there for 7 years, you would look at that apple and think, what on earth have these companies put into this apple so that it still looks like an apple, but it's been there for 7 years? That would be quite disturbing. Well, this is what you want to think about with your products. So when you pick your products up, knowing that they've gone through a 7-year process is actually quite worrying. Why would you want something that still looks good, but has had something put in it to make it last 7 years, be used on your family? So the process that it goes through. So if you think back to the shampoo that you last bought from the shop, before you picked up off the shelf, it went through from a lorry driver that picked it up from the warehouse. And then before that, it went from a lorry driver that picked it up from the wholesaler. Who knows how long it was at the wholesaler and the warehouse for. And then before that, it was at the manufacturers. And then within that process, somewhere in the line are different point of sales. So you've got your advertising, you've got your celebrity endorsement, and all of this bumps the price up by up to 80 to 90%. So I'll give you an example. I used to, pre-Arbonne, use foundation from a really popular brand beginning with an M. And I used to pay £27 for my foundation. It lasted me about 2 months. I recently met one of the ladies that's really high up with this other company within the cosmetics industry, and she informed me that that particular foundation that I used to buy, and a lot of my friends used to buy, cost 3p to make. So 3p to make this foundation cost £27 to buy from the shelf. So that whole process in the middle, what's going on? Well, this is where companies are cutting corners so that they can maximize the profit. So one thing that Arbonne does is it cuts all that out. So the products are made at the manufacturers, and within a couple of months, they are at your front door being delivered. So you know that when you receive your products, they were made no more than about 60 days prior. And sometimes they were made a couple of weeks prior, which is incredible. They're almost made to order. So fresh ingredients, great for consumption, and all of the products are food graded. Now, I am not for a second suggesting that you buy a deodorant from Arbonne and eat it. But what I am saying is, if you did eat that deodorant, or a child ate it, or a pet ate it, it is food graded. So it's going to be absolutely safe. And isn't that much more reassuring than buying something that has had a 7-year shelf life? So that is reason number one. We can cut the cost down massively, making sure that our products are basically made and delivered straight to the consumer's door. So we totally cut out that whole process. That's number one. Number two, going back to the 7-year shelf life, you're probably thinking, what makes these products that are bought from shops last 7 years? And that's a good question. So the answer to that is something called parabens. So has anyone ever heard of parabens? Parabens are basically shelf life preservatives that are put into products. They're artificial preservatives, put into products to give them an artificial, sort of like make them artificial so they've got a shelf life. And parabens are actually really incredibly harmful. It's becoming quite a buzzword at the minute. People are doing everything they can to avoid parabens. And it flags up a lot when somebody in the family's had a diagnosis of cancer. And when that happens, they're given a list of ingredients of what to avoid in all their paperwork. And on that list is lots of things, which I think me and CJ are going to talk about in a second. But one of the things is parabens. So people are told, women with breast cancer on the deodorant side, buy paraben-free deodorant, use paraben-free shampoo, use paraben-free cleanser, paraben-free sun cream, paraben-free bubble bath. People are hearing this a lot, buy paraben-free, paraben-free. The only problem is, when you go to a shop, everything's got paraben in, so they've got the shelf life. So it's really difficult for people to buy paraben-free, but not from Arbonne. All of our products are free from parabens because we don't need that 7-year shelf life. So that's reason number two. We can be free of all the nasty toxins because we only sell through our online website and not in shops. And the third reason is CJ touched on Peter Mork, who is the founder of this amazing company. Now, he believed that the most powerful way to move any kind of product or service is through word of mouth. And we all know this to be true, because if we were to go to a brand new city, say that we were visiting Auckland in New Zealand, and we wanted to know where to eat, what we would do is put onto social media, can anyone recommend somewhere nice to eat in Auckland, New Zealand? And before we know it, people are commenting with their recommendations. Now, we would rather take one of those recommendations from somebody that we know and we trust and we like, over a sponsored, boosted post through social media or through a magazine or through TV advertising a restaurant. We are a switched on society, and we would rather trust people than we would advertisements. And Petter, the founder of this company, really understood the power of word of mouth advertising. And he understood that if he was to, instead of paying celebrities, pay normal people like me, like CJ, like the thousands and thousands of other consultants across the globe who are loving giving health and wellness advice to people and being paid to do that, he knew that that was such a more effective way for people to have honest, genuine recommendations from their consultant who can say genuinely, oh my gosh, you've got to try the Fizz Sticks. They're an incredible energy drink, much better than coffee, so much better than those awful energy drinks out on the high street. Gives you a really nice high, but without the peaks and the troughs, without the drops and the highs, and giving honest recommendations. Or, you know, when we say our children had sore, itchy skin, and we'd be back and forth to the GP, we used an Arbonne cream, so much better, itchy skin, never came back again. So we're giving honest word of mouth recommendations, and people trust our honesty because we are being real. We're saying what our experience is and letting them decide if they want to use these products or not. So those are the 3 reasons why we never ever will be sold in a shop ever, and why we only sell through network marketing.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about our products. And by the way, Danni, I never get bored of hearing about what network marketing is.
I thought you were going to say you never get bored of my voice.
No, I never get bored of your voice either. But seriously, it always piques my interest to go, oh, I love it. Right, so anyway, what are Arbonne products? So our products are unique. Why? Because they combine the best of science and nature and new technology. So out there on the market, there are a lot of products, aren't there, that are 100% like pure natural products, and that's great, but they've got nothing behind them to help them work, to help them be something that does help with dry skin. It's just a product that we put on our face, but because it's 100% natural, you know, it's got its advantage. And then you've got products like Danni was talking about that are in the shelf that are just full of nasty, toxic chemicals that have short-term results. So the beauty of the Arbonne products is that they combined the best of the science, the safe science, and best of nature, and they combine them together to produce a product that actually works and targets the areas of which they're designed to target. So, for example, if you have, I don't know, dry skin, there is a range that Arbonne do that targets dry skin, but because they've combined the best of science and nature together, it actually works. So they're all plant-based, botanical, and botanically inspired formulas. They're built on Swiss heritage. So if we think Swiss, we always think class, don't we? So when we think about Swiss, we think about watches and chocolate and banks. It's all top quality, prestige items, and that is what Arbonne is as well. So we use the highest quality ingredients from around the globe. We're clinically tested. We're never tested on animals. And by never tested, like most products these days that are sold in shops aren't tested on animals because it is illegal to test on animals. That's the final product that's not tested on animals. What they don't tell you is that in the process, the ingredients that are used are, or they're a byproduct. So they might be, so what some bulking agents are is like they get all of animal carcasses basically, and they boil them down, and then it produces a liquid, and that gets sold on to cosmetic companies. So that's an animal byproduct, and they go into the products. So that doesn't happen with Arbonne. Arbonne is completely vegan certified. There is nothing from the minute it gets made to the minute we put it on our skin that has come into contact with an animal. We have other certifications like gluten, we're kosher, and many more as well. And gluten being a really big one at the minute, particularly with people that their body can't tolerate gluten. So that's a really good one for us in terms of the Arbonne product.
Okay, so it's just as important to know that what is in our products is just as important to know what's not in our products. So CJ's kind of already touched a little bit on tallow and some of the other nasties, but a couple of things that I really want to point out, because this is the one slide that I can literally be sat here for the next 3 hours talking to you about, because it's so important, but I'm only going to touch on 2 things on here. One of them is mineral oil. So if you've never heard of mineral oil, you're probably sat there thinking, oh, minerals, that sounds lovely. That's exactly what I used to think 3 years ago. Oh, minerals, that sounds nice, you know. Oh, yeah. Oh God, you will not believe what I'm about to tell you. So basically, mineral oil is this. When people go abroad and work on the oil rigs, so we kind of all know somebody that's married to somebody that works in the oil rigs, and they go out there, they extract crude oil from the ground. That's their job, to extract the crude oil from the ground for petrol. And what they do when they extract that crude oil, they are obviously left with all the ingredients they need for petrol, but they're left with like a dirty scum at the top. And they scrape that dirty scum off, and then they're left with all of this awful, greasy, just disgusting, dirty scum. This is mineral oil, and it's a waste product of petrol. So it's something that's not good enough for petrol. So it's a byproduct of petrol. So they're left with gallons and gallons and gallons of all this mineral oil, and they can't dispose of it onto the environment because it's environmentally harmful. They can't dispose of it by selling it to the food and drinks industry. So they kind of like think, well, where are we going to get rid of it? So what they do is they sell it for pence, for gallons and gallons and gallons of the stuff, to the cosmetics and skincare companies. And they buy it because it's cheap, and they can use it to bulk and fill out their products. So that as an end consumer, we think we're getting 100% of a product. So when we buy our cleanser or our toothpaste or our deodorant or our bubble bath, whatever it may be, when we pick up that product, we think that product is filled 100% with what we think we're buying. And that is not the case. When we buy our shampoo, only about 3 or 4% is actually your shampoo, and the rest is watered down, bulked from the bottom to the top in mineral oil. So you will know if you're using mineral oil because you'll put your hand cream on and you're left with like a greasy residue, and you end up wiping it all over your clothes. It's all greasy and nasty. That's mineral oil. You'll know if you're using mineral oil because when you go abroad, when you put your sun cream on, it will feel greasy and you end up with prickly heat, and that's because the mineral oil is like a layer of cling film all around your skin. It traps any toxins from coming out of your skin. It's nasty. When you sweat, the mineral oil is a barrier, and the sweat goes back in and it causes all these skin irritations and prickly heat. It's just horrendous stuff. You'll know if you've got mineral oil in your bath products because you'll probably have some sort of irritated skin somewhere, dry skin. If you're washing your hair more than once a week, usually that's to do with mineral oil. It causes greasiness. So mineral oil is actually the second most harmful thing you can put on your body after the sun. It's absolutely disgusting. So after this call, if you do nothing else at the end of this call, please go up to your bathroom and or your dressing table and just have a look at all your products, pick them up and have a look at the ingredients. If you see anything with mineral oil in, I highly recommend you dispose of it as quickly as possible, because you've been sold that under false pretenses. You've been sold that and you've paid an absolute fortune for something that is a byproduct of petrol. It's not even good enough for petrol. And what happens is these companies are really sneaky, because mineral oil actually disguises under about 60 different names. And if you want to know more about this, just ask me or CJ or whoever invited you onto this call to have a list of all of the names that mineral oil hides under, and we'll definitely get that sent over to you, because our job is to make people aware of what is happening under our noses, what all these companies are doing, cutting corners. So we really want to help as many households as possible be mineral oil free. So that's the first thing that I just wanted to talk about. The second one was parabens, which we've kind of already talked about anyway, but I really want to just urge you to check everything in your bathroom and on your dressing table. And if it's got a paraben in, that's an artificial preservative put into that product to give it a 7-year shelf life. When parabens are put into the body, our skin soaks them up, like when you see those those quitting smoking Nicorette patch things. When people put those patches onto their skin, the skin soaks it up. And same with the contraceptive like sticker things, whatever they're called, the skin soaks it up. So when you're putting products onto your skin soaks it up. And if you've got paraben in there, that's a foreign object to your body. You really, really want to get rid of anything with parabens in. They're so harmful. At some point they will be banned. They're actually banned in Switzerland and mineral oil, but in the UK, like a lot of things, we like lag behind. And I quite liken this to when smoking was encouraged however many years ago, and then eventually it was, oh, smoking's actually quite bad, and then eventually it was then banned in public places. And it takes time. There will come a point where hopefully it'll be our children where these awful ingredients will be banned, but for right now it's all just about education and finding out the information. So I just wanted to touch on those two. There are many more ingredients that we're free from, but like I said, I could be here all night. I'm so passionate about it.
Okay, so what kind of products do Arbonne have? So as I said earlier, the business and how the business works is what like drew me straight into Arbonne. I loved how it all works, and the conversation plan and everything like that. But I needed to find out more about the products, and what actually finally sold it to me in terms of what it was the fact that we have such a variety of products. So we have everything from skincare, nutrition, things for the bath and body, and makeup. And we have those for all different types of people, of all different types of ages. And the beauty of it is in the word consumable, because every single day we get up, we brush our teeth, we wash our hair, we wash our bodies, we shave our legs, we come downstairs, we eat our breakfast, we do it all. And then not only do we do it, but our partners do it, our children do it, our mum does it, our nan does it, our friends do it. Everybody in this world are washing and eating. And the beauty of the Arbonne having consumable products is at some point they are full and then they run out, and then you need to rebuy them. So basically, what you can do is that you can use, and I'll get lost. Basically, you can use all of the products in your daily life, and that's the beauty of it. So, like I said, we've got great skincare that range from for aging all the way through to sensitive or problematic skin. We've got a nutrition range that really support someone with an athletic exercise regime, or even somebody that just wants to support a healthy eating, support their digestion system, and their gut to really help support them having a healthier lifestyle. We've got things for bath and body, everything from really quite luxurious things like our sea sauce range, right through to our everyday basics like shampoo and conditioner. And they even tailor that. So there's even a product for those that have got coloured hair. And then the makeup, which I really can't lie, is my favourite range. And it was the last range of part of our products that I actually personally tried, because before Arbonne, I used to actually get my makeup for free because of where my mother-in-law worked. So basically, I used a certain brand because it was free for me, as I was gifted it. And then, so why would I change that? So why would I swap? And it wasn't until I learned and educated myself on everything that Danny's just been saying that I was like, right. And I urbanized my home, and I became a massive walk-in product of the products. And now I wouldn't go back. But every couple of months, I need to rebuy those things, and so do my clients. So that's how it works as a business. So business-wise, it just seemed like a genius idea.
Okay, so we're starting to the end now. So if you know somebody that you think needs to build a plan B income, and you know that they currently don't have that plan B in place like we spoke about in the beginning, you might think of them and think, do you know, Arbonne might be a really good fit for them. They're nice, they love to give honest recommendations, they shower, you know, which is always a bonus, they eat and drink like CJ just said. So I'm going to tell you, when you're looking for a business, whatever it is, you want to have at least one mega trend. Having at least one mega trend with the business means you're going to still be in business more than likely in the next few years. Now, Arbonne actually has 4 megatrends. So I'm going to tell you what the 4 megatrends are. And just remember that to have a successful business, you really want to be looking for at least 1 megatrend. So the great thing is we've got 4. So number 1, CJ's touched on this, we've got a consumable product. So just to echo what CJ said, no matter what people's financial situation is, they're still going to be brushing their teeth, washing and maybe wearing deodorant, eating and drinking. Doesn't matter what your financial situation is, every single person on this planet is buying toothpaste, and we don't run out of toothpaste and think, oh, I can't really afford any for the next couple of months, so I'll just leave it. You know, and women, we would sooner run out of bread and milk than we would mascara. It just doesn't happen. This is a consumable product that everybody wants. So it's 100% demand of the market. And I remember when people used to do Tupperware. Now, I love Tupperware. I am not knocking Tupperware. I'm a big fan. But how often do you replace your Tupperware? How often do you buy that? What, once every couple of years? If you were selling and recommending TVs or mobile phones, how often do those things get replaced? Again, once every few years. There's not a consumable demand for it. Whereas with these products, every single person buys these products every single month. They say on average, every household spends about £100 a month on these types of products. So for you to have a business, or for your friend to have a business within Arbonne, they are bang on trend for consumable products. So that's just echoing what CJ said. So that's megatrend number 1. Megatrend number 2, health and wellness. We are in the $1 trillion boom of what is health and wellness. So years ago, we saw the housing boom, and we all wish that years ago, when the housing boom was about to happen, we'd all bought 20 houses, and then as the housing boom hit, we all become millionaires. Lots of people did that, lots of people didn't. But that was the boom back then, the housing boom that happened. Then we had the dot-com boom. So all the people that were involved with Facebook, Google, Amazon, before it went big, they were involved with the dot-com boom, which was incredible. And now we're about to embark on the health and wellness boom. We cannot look anywhere without health and wellness being in our eyesight. And I think you've only got to look at what your grandma looks like now compared to 50 years ago, what grandmas looked like then. They're totally different. Everybody wants to look younger these days. Everybody wants to feel younger. You cannot even tell if somebody's 80 these days because they look fabulous. They're still exercising. They're doing yoga. Some of them are working still or doing volunteer work. People that are 80 now are not like what we imagined 80-year-olds to be back then. Everybody's living longer and everybody's looking younger. So the demand for health and wellness is huge. That's the second megatrend. The third megatrend is the ability to leverage time. Now, this is genius, especially if you're a busy person, or if the person that you know who you think would be great at this business, if they're a busy person, they cannot fit any more time into their busy schedule. This is a fabulous concept because they're able to build an online business that's running 24/7. So right now, me and CJ are doing this call for you guys, but our online shops are running 24/7 like Amazon. People right now all across the globe are logging on to our shops, putting products in their basket and then putting their card details in, paying it all online, organising their DPD, signed for courier delivery, so they'll be delivered to their house in the next 2 working days. Me and CJ are doing this presentation for you guys, but our online businesses are turning over profits. People are buying these products now, but we're here. So we are leveraging our time. There is only 24 hours in a day. When you work for a job, you're capped at how many hours you can put in. Your pay doesn't go up because you don't have any more hours to put in. In Arbonne, it's totally different. We're involved with the profit system. So that means that if CJ was to go on holiday for 3 weeks with Nate and the boys, and she was to just leave her online website just running, she's going to come back and it's going to have turned over profit in that time, and she's going to earn a percentage of it. So I always liken this to being involved with Amazon. I'm a big Amazon fan. So imagine if you earn 10% of Amazon's turnover. It doesn't matter if you're at work, if you're volunteering, if you're at your child's assembly, it doesn't matter where you are, you're earning 10% of Amazon. That is the ability to leverage your time. So this is fantastic for busy people. And then the fourth megatrend is internet-based. Everything is internet-based these days. We don't see Woolworths and Blockbusters and Choices anymore. Everything is internet-based. So we earn a percentage of the turnover from our Arbonne business. It's online. We don't have to deal with any money. We don't have to do any delivering. We don't deliver any catalogs. It's a clean, fantastic business with 4 Megatrends.
Okay, so how does it work, and so how can you do it? So basically, what we do is we stop buying our products from the stores, from the supermarkets. We stop paying for their overheads and paying their wages. We start buying from our own online shop with a discount, and then and then we share that with other people. So basically, we switch to Arbonne. We save money because we're ordering from our own online shop with our own discount because we're consultants, and then we earn a commission for sharing that with other people. And it really is. There's not much more to say because it literally is that simple. That it is a case of stopping what you're doing right now, switching and letting yourself be paid for doing it, and then sharing it with everybody that you possibly can. And that's it, really. There's not much more to say.
Genius. Okay, so where are we in the country? So Arbonne launched 37 years ago in the United States, and we've got a Switzerland heritage behind our products. We adhere to Swiss standards. Then we launched into Canada. And then 10 years ago, we were launched into the United Kingdom and Australia in the same year. So obviously both English-speaking countries. And then we launched into Poland a couple of years ago, which is the first non-English-speaking country. And then we launched into New Zealand and Taiwan. So those are the 7 countries that if you know anybody that knows somebody in those countries, these people can log on to your online shop and order these products. They'll be dispatched and delivered straight to their door. We don't deal with any delivery, and we don't deal with it taking any money off anybody. It's all done online. Now, the great thing about this is, although we're a 37-year-old company, what happens is they do network marketing awards. So they award every year the top 20 companies, and I think they also list the top 100. Arbonne every year are in the top 20, but we are the only company that have not yet globalized, which means we're not in every country yet. So all of the other 19 companies that are in the top 20 every year are already globalized, whereas Arbonne aren't. And I think that's really key, the fact that we haven't globalized, but we're always in the top 20, which is crazy. And also from a business point of view, the blue on this map is where we're going. So I personally didn't know anybody in Australia or in Taiwan or in Poland or in Canada or America, but I know people who know people in those countries. People in those countries that shower, they like to use toxic-free products, they want a plan B income. Arbonne is a perfect business for a lot of people, particularly busy people that care a lot about what they're putting onto their families. And there are a lot of people across the world, I believe 7 billion. So from a business point of view, look at where we're going. Look at what is happening over the next sort of 10, 15, 20, 30 years. It's incredible. So I think this is the last one that I'm going to talk over, and then I'm going to hand over to CJ to end the call. How much can people earn in this business? So that is what I was thinking when my friend was talking to me about Arbonne. I was thinking, right, it sounds good. I've used the products are amazing, but how much can people actually earn? So this is what I'm going to talk to you about. So there are only 4 levels within this business. So I'm going to tell you at all of the levels what I was earning and what the average is. And when I say average, this is the people that start a business, the majority of people that start a business, and they sort of just consume the products themselves and they tell a few people. So you can either be like the average, or you can start a business and share this information with lots of people, which is what I did. And I was moving through these levels a lot quicker and earning a lot more than the average. Consider myself a little bit above average. I'm sure most people do. Anyway, so level number 1 is a district manager. So at the district manager level, it took me 4 months to become a district manager, and I was earning between £500 and £700 a month here. So what would an extra, say, £500 a month look like in your life? And bear in mind that extra £500 a month is just because you've swapped your shampoo and swapped your cleanser and your makeup. So you're still working, you're still looking after your children or whatever it is that you normally do. Nothing's had to change there. You've just switched your product brands and have started talking to other people about what you think to these products. So what would an extra £500 a month look like to your family? So for us, I know that lots of people wouldn't think £500 a month is life-changing, but for us, it absolutely was, because it meant that my husband didn't have to work weekends anymore, which meant that we had time together as a family. So although he stopped working weekends, thanks to this business at level 1, we were in this same point financially, but we had time together as a family, and that's what we were lacking. We were lacking time together as a family. So every week we had weekends together, which was incredible. So for me, I am so grateful for the person, Emma, who told me about this business, because she enabled me to have all of the information, and I got to decide for myself if this was something that I wanted to pursue, and it absolutely was. I'm so grateful because I've had so much time as a family thanks to this business. That's level number 1. Level number 2 is an area manager. And by the way, how you move through the levels is based on business turnover. So as your turnover grows and grows and grows, this is how you get promoted through the levels, based on business turnover. So level number 2 is an area manager. And for me, it took me 6 months to reach this level, level number 2. And I was earning about between £1,000 and £2,000 a month here, roughly. So what would an extra £2,000 a month look like in your life? So for me, 6 months into swapping my products and telling people what I thought to these products, £2,000 a month every month meant that everything that I wanted to say yes to, I could say yes to, because I was one of these people that had to say no to a lot of things because I couldn't afford it or because I didn't have the time. So when my friends would say, Danny, do you want to put in for so-and-so's birthday present? Danny, do you want to go on this hen do? Danny, do you want to come and do this? Do you want to go on a spa weekend? I would have that gut-wrenching feeling and have to say no, because I couldn't afford it and I didn't have the time. So earning £2,000 a month meant that we could say yes to everything we wanted to say yes to. And there were times where we couldn't even afford a holiday every year for our family. We'd collect sun tokens, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with sun tokens, but we had no other choice. That was our only choice. We'd collect our sun tokens every year and we'd go to Great Yarmouth in the caravan. And it used to really make me sad that we did that because we had no other choice. There was nothing wrong with Great Yarmouth, there's nothing wrong with the caravan holiday, but we had no other choice. We had no other options available to us. So building my Arbonne business meant that we could then say, if we wanted to take our children abroad, we could. If we wanted to go away for 2 weeks, we could. We didn't have to go, no, we best only go away for 1 week, can't afford to. So it stopped us having to say no to everything. And so this is 2.5 years ago now, I'm at level 2. I could say yes to everything. So if you know somebody that's constantly having to say no, I can't afford it, no, I don't have time, and they're deflated and they feel depressed and they're suffering with anxiety and they're sick to death of saying no to everything, this might be a really good business for them to put their effort into so that they can actually say yes to things. So that made such a difference to us. That's level number 2. And it's willable as well. So if you're building this business, you can will that to your parents or to your children or to a friend or whoever it is. Will it to a charity. You know, if something's important to you, you can will this income to someone else. Level number 3 is a regional vice president. Now, it took me 11 months to reach this point, and my average income as a regional vice president is between £5,000 and £6,000 a month. Now, for us, that meant that my dream could come true of coming home one day and saying to my husband, who's worked so hard, you can phone your boss up and tell him you're not coming back to work anymore. That was a big dream for me. My husband worked so hard. His boss was so mean to him, and my husband got to 11 months in of me building this business, ring up his boss and say, I am not coming back to work again. So I could financially support us, and then he could then go on and build his own dream. He had his own dreams, but he couldn't do it before because he had a job. But now he's gone on to pursue his own dreams, and he's so happy. So money definitely doesn't buy you happiness, but it certainly does make a difference. It definitely does help. So at this level, level number 3, that is where our life was. So 11 months in. You're also given an extra cash bonus at regional vice president of £500 extra a month, and that is for you to buy or lease a brand new white Mercedes, and that is to represent how many people you've helped become toxic free from these products, using these good products. Now, you wouldn't know to look at me that my business turns over £1 million a year. It's not obvious, but when you've got the white Mercedes, then you know that person turns over nearly £1 million a year or more, because they've helped that many people. So that is what the white Mercedes is about. It's representing how many people you've gone on to help. So I've, over the past 3 years, I cannot even tell you the amount of babies I've helped that have got skin conditions, the amount of people that I've helped to be able to pay their mortgage every month, the amount of people I've helped that have suffered with irritable bowels or lupus or all different kinds of conditions. I've been able to help them manage that on a better day-to-day level. So that's level number 3. Level number 4 is a national vice president. This is the top level in the company that you can build to. So for me, we are almost at this level, which will mean 3 years into building my business, we'll be at the nation level. The average income at this level is £15,000 a month upwards. So what would £15,000 a month look like for you? How many charities could you help? Could you buy a house with that money to live in or to rent out? You know, what would you do with £15,000 a month? Things that I would do, I've got big dreams. I've got enormous dreams. This company allows you to put your energy and efforts into it and to reap massive rewards. Now, it is an effort-based business. I would not want anyone to be on the call tonight and think, I'm going to start this business, I'm going to be a millionaire overnight. It's not how it works. You have to help people. You have to help give people this information. You have to answer people's questions. When people say to you, I've got dry skin, what can you do for me? You have to meet people and talk to them, because we become health and wellness advisors. You have to teach people how to build this business. So you become a mentor, you become an advisor, and you put energy and effort into helping other people. Now, for most people, they do that free of charge anyway. Most people like to help people anyway, but in this business, we're paid to do just that. It's an incredible company. At all 4 levels, you can earn holidays. Arbonne doesn't set you targets, but you can set yourself targets. Every year, Arbonne put on trips and holidays where they essentially say, if you want to, let's call it overtime, you can call it whatever you want. They say, if you want to do a bit of overtime, you can build your business slightly bigger and you can earn trips. So over the past 3 years, I've done slightly more with my business when the trips have been announced, so that I can earn a fully paid for Mexico trip. That'll be this year. I've been on a Caribbean cruise. I've been on a Bahamas trip to Paradise Island. I've been to Arizona 3 times, and I'm just about to go to Las Vegas for the 3rd time. So they announce different trips, and they basically say, if you want to help a few more people than usual, do a little bit more, let's call it overtime, you can earn trips. You don't have to, but if you like trips, this is a great company to be involved with. It really is.
Amazing. Okay, so where do you see yourself? So now you've had a good old listen. You've listened to Danni and I chat away for the last 40 minutes. And you've heard all about the products and the business. So now ask yourself, where do you see yourself? So do you see yourself as somebody that actually, this does sound really great, and you want to be the person that helps the person that showed you this business today, or you want to be the person that helps their friend with their business. So you're going to offer to host a party for them, and by doing that, you can earn free products. So you really like the concept, you really like the products, you'd really like to try some bits and pieces, and you really want to help somebody or your friend or a consultant expands their network and things like that. So you're going to host a party for them, invite your friends over and share what Arbonne is with your friends, and be rewarded as a thank you with lots of free products for the doing so. Do you see yourself as somebody that has just heard enough about what is in shop bought products, and you're thinking, okay, all right, I can't unlearn what I've just learned. You've swayed me, talk to me about products. So do you see yourself as a client? Is this something you think, right now I need to start to consume these products? I need to get rid of the rubbish that's in my bathroom, and I need to restart and have a new approach to what I'm using. And if you do after this call go upstairs and you look at the products and you think, oh, they do have mineral oil, and oh, they do have parabens, and actually I really need to go back to the consultant and say, okay, let's have a chat, then you might see yourself as a client or preferred client. And this is great because as a preferred client, you can get 20% off. You don't get 20% off every time you go to Morrison's or Boots to do your shop, do you? Just to name a few, there are other companies out there. Like, you don't get that. Whereas with Arbonne, you become a preferred client, and not only do you get 20% off, or up to 40% off actually, but regularly 20% off the SRP price, but you also get like a personal shopper. You get a consultant who's there to look after you, somebody who genuinely cares if a product is or isn't working for you. And also, Arbonne believe in their products so much that there is, I think it's a 42-day money back guarantee. So if you bought something from your consultant and it just wasn't doing what you thought it might do, and you want to change it up a bit, change your colour, then we could just sort it out for you, send it back, because you've got someone that looks after you. So you might just find that you want to be a consumer, or you've heard the whole presentation, you're about to go and throw everything away that's in your bathroom, you're about to start a business, because you have just seen what goes on in a lot of our heads when we just get that light bulb that goes on and goes, oh, why wouldn't I do this? Because you might just feel like you're ready to start. Arbonne has a really low startup fee. Up until the 17th of this month, at the minute, it's £28, which is just amazing. But regularly, it's £56 to start your business. And that gets you a website, the customer care that I was talking about, the consultant that showed you and introduced you that will help launch you and look after you, and show you where to access all the trainings. You get to enjoy 35% off the suggested retail price, which is just amazing. Again, you can't just go to your random shop in the high street, walk in and go, but actually I want 35% off. It doesn't happen, because you get that with Arbonne, and actually we can have up to 50% off some products, which is just absolutely incredible. We've got that generous compensation plan that Danni talked about earlier, and it is that generous, and it doesn't matter. You look at the time frames. The time frames are different for everybody. I've been doing this business for 2 years, and I'm an area manager in qualification. We are going to complete, but that's because I've taken my time. But you can choose to do it when it suits you, and do it at the pace that suits you. And obviously we've got the opportunity to spend the Mercedes, which Danni touched on, and the personal growth and development is just amazing. So just really quickly, just 2 seconds, just think to yourself, where do you see yourself? Are you where you are today because of the choices that you made yesterday? If you keep doing what you're doing, where will you be in 5 years? If you wake up tomorrow and you do exactly what you did today, where are you going to be in 5 years' time? Is it going to be where you want to? Are you going to have achieved the dreams that you set out to achieve? And instead of asking yourself, what if it doesn't work? Ask yourself, okay, but what if it does?
What do you do?
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.